Welcome to Sit Down at the Entrepreneur. We're joined alongside head coach Ben Rich of the Ryerson baseball team. Ben, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Harlan, and yourself?
I'm good, thanks. So your first year of coaching the Ryerson Rams, there's some highs and some lows. Can you talk about some of the things that went really positively for you and some things that didn't go out so well?
As I spoke to, all those things that we're trying to teach and building the foundation, like those, you need to have those in place before you really start racking up the wins. So I think everything I spoke to there was kind of part of the learning curve. And, we still have a lot to build on year in, year out. Ultimately, we won't be satisfied until we have an OUA championship.
So during the offseason, have you taken a bit back from, have you been just focusing on your regular day-to-day activities, or have you been focusing on baseball?
Baseball's always happening. As OUA coaches are planning for the OUA coaches meeting, which is happening in early December, so there's that going on. Working on planning our indoor strength training sessions, which will be commencing in January. So there's always things going on, but it's certainly not to the same level of in-season where you literally have upwards of 30 hours a week of baseball-related duties.
So do you feel like you're scouting or you're doing baseball-related work a lot?
We've done a little bit of recruiting outreach, reached out to some players and other players who have reached out to us from high schools, and also even players who are currently in the United States and interested in coming to Ryerson next year. So we've been in touch. We're working on bringing them out to our skills training sessions that we'll be having in the spring.
Right. What was your favorite moment from the year? Was it that first game, or was it another moment?
It's pretty hard to top the first game. I mean, for us to get a win at home in our first ever home game ever, to win in the way we did, 4-3, a bit of a back and forth battle, coming down to the last out in the game with over, I think, well over 150, probably 150 to 200 people on hand, including lots of Ryerson Rams athletes there. It was definitely very special.
Do you think that after that first game, though, maybe some of the momentum was lost? Maybe players were riled up for that first game, but then afterwards it was just like a regular season?
No, I think it was just a matter of the guys understanding that every game was going to be like that. Every game was going to be a grind. Every game was going to come down to little things and execution making the difference between, some of the 8-7, 5-3, 3-2 losses that we had, turning those into victories for us.
And then, just on that point, I know holding on to leads is a big thing. Or I think you guys blew, 4 of them past the 4th inning during the course of the year. So do you think, how do you think you guys are going to have to hold on to those leads?
I think at times our bullpen needed, our entire pitching staff just needed a little more consistency, and I think that comes with kind of the league adjustment. And our defense needed to be sharper in terms of understanding that you can't give guys an extra base, especially the OUA is a very strong league. Lots of teams that have been around and know how to execute and know how to push runs across. So if you give them an extra base, if you give them an extra out, they capitalize on, they make you pay. And the other part of holding on to the lead is not sitting on the lead, not being content with, okay, it's 5-3, we're probably going to win the game. To my point of how good the league is, every team fights back, every team is capable. So we have to look at a 5-3 lead and keep digging for every possible run. So
when you're just talking about holding on to the lead when you're up 5-3 late in the 7th inning, to me these sound more like mental mistakes rather than physical mistakes. Or do you find a combination of both, or mostly mental?
It's a little bit of both, but when they happen over and over again, it becomes a mental mistake. Baseball is a game of mistakes. It's a game of failure. And we don't expect, nobody expects every player to make every single play that happens. But if it happens game in, game out, the guys partway through the year, I recall there was a game where, we had a lead, we made some mistakes, we ended up losing the game. And in the post-game talk, I said, so is anybody tired of hearing this speech again? And I proceeded to not even give them the speech because they knew what I was going to say. So those become cases of mental mistakes.
Right. And your roster that you have right now, are you going to make a lot of adjustments to it? Do you see a lot of guys not being on the team that are on the team this year, or is most going to be the same core?
We've only got one player departing as a senior, which is terrific. It was a big part of how we wanted to construct the team this year. You know that in order to build a program, you need guys who are in, year out. And ultimately, we'll evaluate what comes in terms of the recruits that I mentioned, and even just, we've barely scratched the surface of the off season as we ramp up towards the spring and then throughout the summer, I'll be getting in touch with more and more players. And we'll have more and more opportunity to evaluate them and see how the roster looks from there.
We're just talking about scratching the surface towards the offseason, leading to my next point about during the offseason you guys are trying to sell baseball hats, right?
Yeah, we've got a couple of fundraising initiatives underway. One of them was hat sales, so players are selling literally their exact copies of what the guys wear on the field. We're going to be doing some sort of combination of a bar night or prizes raffle where we have some things like tablets, HTC One phones or Samsung phones, and WestJet tickets that we're going to be raffling off. So anyway, we can kind of pull in some money to help offset the player fees for the year.
You were telling me that the response from the players has been pretty good. They've been selling lots of hats.
Yeah, I mean, some guys have sold all of them. Some guys have only sold one or two. So you got kind of both ends of the spectrum. But you know, guys who have sold more are helping other guys out. And we were out at the OUA Championship soccer game a few weeks ago. Sold a couple hats there. So guys are doing everything they can to help unload them.
Right. Do you think there's been a good team atmosphere within your team? Is it a team atmosphere, or is it still guys playing for themselves? Or
no, it's a definite team atmosphere, which 100% credit to the players that they've totally understood and bought into the idea of a team, not just a team, but being a new team. So understanding that there's a lot of challenges, difficulties. You know, we're literally starting from the bottom, starting from nothing. So I think that kind of unifies everybody together around that same ethos there.
Right. Well, just like Drake said, we started from the bottom and now we're here, right?
That's right. That's the idea, baby.
So you guys have done an excellent job this year.
Thank you, Harlan.
Thank you very much, Ben Rich, for joining me today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
I'd like to thank Ben Rich on behalf of the Entrepreneur, on behalf of Harlan Nemerofsky, myself. You've been watching Sit Down with Ben Rich. Thank you for watching.